I want to tell you the truth about who I used to be. Back in high school, I was not the guy you'd be proud to know. I was a bully. I thought pushing people around made me big. I thought humiliating people in front of a crowd gave me power. I thought being feared was the same thing as being respected. And I wasn't alone. The girl I was dating, the girl who later became my wife, she was the same. She laughed when I bullied. She bullied others herself. She thought it was funny too. Back then, I looked at her and thought, we're a perfect match. We're made for each other. So I dropped out of high school. We got married young. I thought I was doing life right, marriage, a family, responsibility. But instead of walking into a better future, I was walking straight into hell. Soon after, we had a son. His name is James. When he was born, for the first time, I felt something I never knew back in high school. Real love, real responsibility. Holding your child changes something in you. At least it did for me. We were middle class, not poor, not rich, just average. But there was one problem. Because I dropped out of school, I couldn't land decent work. My wife was in the same boat. Neither of us had real qualifications for high-paying jobs. So we both worked whatever jobs we could get, long shifts, exhausting hours, just enough pay to get by. For the first couple of years, it went okay. Bills were paid, James was growing. But then my wife started coming home late. First, I assumed she was working overtime. I trusted her. But then I noticed something different, something I had tried to ignore. She was drinking. At first, it was a glass here and there. Stress relief maybe, but like a spark in dry wood, it spread fast. Soon, she was addicted. She wasn't just drinking, she was losing herself. I tried to sit her down, talk to her. She wouldn't listen. She didn't want to hear it, and over time, it got worse. She quit her job completely. She kept drinking, spending money we didn't have, while I struggled to keep the house afloat. The nights in our home turned from loving to shouting, one fight after another. But through it all, the only reason I didn't walk away was James, our son. I couldn't abandon him. I thought, he needs two parents even if they're broken, more than he needs just one trying. So I stayed. Eventually, James was old enough to start school. By then, I was juggling two jobs, one full-time, one part-time. I barely got enough sleep, but I pushed through. For a short while, life seemed stable. My wife was a housewife, and her drinking slowed a little. Nothing perfect, but manageable. And then my past came back. It came back through my son. While I was at work one afternoon, I got a phone call from his school. They said, "Your son has been hurt. Please come immediately." I raced over, heart in my throat. James had been cornered by other boys at school. They hit him hard enough to break his arm, and then they ran off. I saw him afterward. His face had little scars, his arm twisted in strange angles, his eyes full of tears. At first I told myself, kids get into fights, maybe this is just rough play. But deep down, what I really saw was myself. I was looking at the boy I used to be, except now I was on the other side. I had bullied kids just like this. I had laughed when they cried. I had pushed them, hit them, humiliated them. And now karma had come back for me, not directly, but through my boy. In that moment, I realized God wasn't being random. He was showing me my sins through my own child. I rushed James to a government hospital. Doctors examined him. They told me plainly, the chances of full healing are very low. His nerves are badly damaged. We recommend you take him to a private hospital. There, the specialists may help, but it will be expensive. Those words hit me like a hammer. Expensive. I didn't have the money, not even close. They wrapped James's arm, gave him medication for pain, but warned me, this is only temporary. If you want your son to have a chance, he needs surgery, and soon. I went home broken. I told my wife. She exploded, blamed me for everything, shouted that our life was in ruins because of me, and then she drank more, threw the little piece we had straight back into the gutter. Trying to stay strong for my son, I checked our savings. Months of working nights and double shifts, gone, half already missing. She had taken it and poured it into bottles. I called out her name in rage. She shrugged me off, fell asleep drunk while the house looked like garbage. Later that night, James came to me, arm wrapped, tears streaming. He looked me in the eye and said, "Dad, am I gonna be okay? Why are kids bullying me? What did I do wrong?" I held back tears. I couldn't let him see me break. I forced a smile. "You'll be okay, son," I said, but inside I shattered because I had no answer to give him. When he left the room, I collapsed onto the floor. I whispered into the dark, louder than I had spoken to God in my entire life. "Please, please help me. I don't ask for myself. I don't deserve it. I know what I've done in the past. I was cruel. I was sinful. Don't forgive me, but please save my family. Save my boy." And that's when it happened. The window blew open. A sudden burst of wind slammed through the room, and with it, a wooden plank whipped loose in that storm, flew straight inside and struck James right on his already injured arm. He screamed in agony. Everything inside me told me to panic, but another voice, the one I had just prayed to, pushed me to act. I scooped James up, ran out to get a taxi, and rushed to the private hospital the other doctors had suggested. When we arrived, the nurse looked at his arm, shook her head, and said, "He needs surgery immediately." I stammered, "I don't have money, I can't afford it." Her eyes softened, she leaned closer. "Talk to the surgeon, please, just talk to him." I ran down the hall, nearly breaking down while begging whoever was there, "Please, save my son, I'll do anything." And then I froze. The surgeon turned around, I recognized him instantly. My heart dropped into my stomach, it was him. An old classmate from high school, the very one I tormented, someone I bullied without mercy, and now his hands were the ones that could decide whether my son kept his arm or lost it forever. In that second I thought, this is it, this is my punishment. Why would he ever help me after everything I did? He looked at me, eyes narrowing, then he asked, "You're Henry, right?" I couldn't look him in the face. "Yes," I said quietly. My voice cracked, the words poured out. "I hurt you when we were kids, I was horrible, I bullied you, and I deserve whatever you think of me, but please, I'm begging you, don't punish my boy for my sins, heal him, save him. I'll never be able to repay you, but I swear I am sorry." And then something unexpected happened. He didn't yell, he didn't rage, he didn't curse me. Instead, he smiled. "Henry," he said, "I forgave you a long time ago. The past is gone. You don't need to carry that anymore. We're old classmates. I'll help your son, and I won't take $1 from you." That moment, the mercy in his voice broke something open inside me. I cried, I couldn't hold it. He checked James's reports carefully and said, "The chances are low, but I'll try." And then the surgery began. Minutes stretched into hours. I sat in that waiting room praying harder than I ever had in my entire life. Finally, the door opened, the doctor walked out. His face looked stunned, like he had just witnessed something impossible. He asked me, "Tell me the truth, before coming here, did something hit your son's arm?" I nodded quickly. "Yes," I told him. "On the way here, the wind blew a plank into the house. It hit him right on his arm." The doctor shook his head slowly, still in awe. "That plank had hit in the exact spot where a hairline fracture was needed. That break made it possible for us to reset the bone perfectly. Without that, your son's chances were almost zero. With it, the surgery was smoother than expected. He'll heal. His arm will be saved. Some might say it's luck. Personally, I think it's a miracle." And when I heard that, my soul trembled, because I knew it wasn't just luck. What were the odds that I would pray, that a wind would come, that a plank would hit exactly in the one spot that made a miracle possible, that the surgeon would be the one man I had bullied, yet the same man who forgave me and saved my child? All of it fell into place too perfectly, too exact. It wasn't a coincidence, it was God. He was watching the entire time. James's surgery was a success. We returned home. My wife was still drinking, still struggling, but inside me something had shifted. I had seen God's power firsthand. 2 or 3 months later, I went back to see the surgeon. I had managed to save some money. I pressed an envelope into his hands and said, "Please, take this, it's the least I can do." He pushed it back toward me, he shook his head. Then he smiled and said, "Keep your money, but Henry, we're having a high school reunion next week. Why don't you come?" At first, fear crawled through me. A reunion with all the people I had bullied, the ones I'd humiliated. I'd have to face them all. Maybe they'd spit on me, maybe they'd hate me. But then I thought, maybe this is why God kept me alive, to fix what I broke. So I went alone. Walking into that hall, I felt the shame of my past heavier than ever. And there they were, all the classmates I had picked on, talking, laughing, better people than I ever was. I stepped into the center of the room, my legs trembled, and I said, "I'm sorry for all of it, for the pain I caused, for the lives I made harder. I was wrong, I was lost. Please forgive me." For a moment, silence filled the room. Then one by one, they nodded, they smiled, some hugged me. "It's in the past, Henry, it's over." We began to talk, and as we talked, something incredible happened. Many of them had become successful. They were managers, business owners, professionals. They offered me advice. They offered me opportunities, and more than that, they connected me with people who could help with addiction programs for my wife, for my family. And slowly life began to rebuild. I got a stable job, one I could be proud of. My wife finally sought help, and little by little her drinking slowed. James grew, transferred to a better school, his arm completely healed. He came home smiling again. I made sure to check on him every single day. Looking back now, I see it all clearly. None of this was coincidence. The plank hitting at the perfect spot. The school bully turned doctor forgiving me. The high school reunion reconciling me with my past. My wife's addiction slowly healing. My son's future saved. That wasn't random. That wasn't chance. That was God. God saved my son's arm. God rescued my marriage. God saved me from being the wrong man I was becoming. And when I needed emotional support the most, He gave it to me through my child, through classmates I had hurt, through people I least deserved help from. This is not coincidence, this is grace. If you're watching this, hear me, be patient. You may not see the plan yet, but God is in motion. He is preparing things in secret. He is aligning pieces like a puzzle so that one day, when you look back, you'll know. God helps us anytime, even when we don't see it, even when we don't deserve it. He's there, working in the background. And I'm living proof of that.